Today we're going to practice solving two-step equations with integers. Remember, we want to undo what we see. We want to isolate our variable. We see a subtraction of 3, so we are going to need to add 3. Remember, a subtraction of 3 is the same as a negative 3. So we want to add 3 to both sides. So minus 3 plus 3 will cancel. We'll be left with 2x on the left side, and 1 plus 3 is 4. Our next step is going to be to undo the multiplication that we see. The 2 is multiplying, the 2 and the variable are being multiplied, excuse me. So to undo the multiplication, we are going to divide both sides by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so we end up with x, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So our answer equals x equals 2. We can do our check step, and we can substitute the 2 back in. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. 1 equals 1, so we know our answer is correct. Number 5. We want to isolate our variable. We have a minus 1, so we are going to add 1 to both sides. Minus 1 plus 1 equals 0, so I'm left with negative 2y on the right side. Minus 9 plus 1 is a negative 8. Now I need to divide both sides by negative 2. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 equals 1, so I'm left with y. And negative 8 divided by negative 2 equals 4. Equals 4. You have two negatives, so you're going to have a positive answer. We can do our check step. So we have negative 9 is equal to negative 2 times 4 minus 1. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8 minus 1. Remember, we do subtraction, so we do same, opposite. Okay, let's continue with our check step. When you have a negative 8 minus 1, remember we do subtraction, so we get same, opposite, opposite. So negative 8 plus a negative 1 is a negative 9. So y equals 4 is the correct solution, because when you substitute it back into the original equation and evaluate, you get negative 9 equals negative 9. Number 8. I have a negative 4, so I'm going to need to add 4. I want to isolate my variable, so I need to get rid of the number that is on the same side as the equation with the variable. Minus 4 plus 4 is 0, so I'm left with 2x on the right side. Negative 10 plus 4 would be a negative 6. Now I'm going to need to undo the multiplication, so I will divide both sides by 2. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. These two cancel, so I get x is equal to negative 3. Negative 10 equals negative 4 plus 2 times negative 3. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Negative 4 plus negative 6 is negative 10. So I know that x equals negative 3 is the correct solution. Number 11. I have a negative x. I need to remove the constant, which is the 7. And if I look to see, the 7 is positive, so I'm going to remove it by having a negative 7. So I will subtract 7 on both sides. Negative 9 plus negative 7 is negative 16. 7 minus 7 is 0, so I'm left with the negative x. Now we do not want to leave our variable negative, so I need to isolate that negative. So this is really a negative 1. So my variable is being multiplied by negative 1, so I'm going to divide both sides by negative 1. So negative 16 divided by negative 1 is going to give me a positive 16, and a negative 1x divided by a negative 1, those will cancel, and I'll be left with x. So x equals 16. Our check step would be 7 minus 16. So remember, we would do same, opposite, opposite. We have different signs, so we would subtract. The 16 is larger, so it's negative, has a larger absolute value. So we would take the sign of the number with the largest absolute value. Negative 9 equals negative 9, so we know that the correct solution is x equals 16. Number 14. We want to isolate our variable. The 6 is positive, so we are going to be able to remove the 6 by subtracting 6 from both sides. Minus 14 plus minus 6 is negative 20. 6 minus 6 is 0, so we have a minus 4x. We want to isolate our variable, so we are going to divide by -4. You will divide by whatever the variable is being multiplied by, so -4 divided by -4 cancels out to 1, so you have x. -20 divided by -4 is 5, so the answer is 5 equals x. -14 equals 6 minus 4 times 5. So this would be 6 minus 4 times 5 is 20. You want to do same, opposite, opposite. So the 20 is negative. Different signs subtract. 20 has the largest absolute value. So 20 minus 6 is 14. And the larger absolute value is negative. So the answer would be negative. So -14 equals -14. So that proves that my solution of 5 equals x is correct. I need to isolate my variable. My 8 here is a positive 8, so to isolate it, I will subtract 8 from both sides. 8 minus 8 is 0. I'm left with -3x equals -13 plus -8 is a -21. I need to isolate my variable, so I need to undo the multiplication of the -3, so I'll divide by -3. -3's cancel. I'm left with x. -21 divided by -3 is a positive 7. My check step, 8 minus 3 times 7 equals -13. 8 minus 3 times 7 is 21 equals a -13. So I need to do same, opposite, opposite. So I'll be subtracting because my signs are different. 21 minus 8 is 13. 21 it has the largest absolute value and it's negative, so my answer will be negative. -13 equals -13, so that proves that my solution of x equals 7 is correct. You're going to turn your paper over and you are going to work all of the problems on the side of the page that has the calculator, number 1 through 12. Come see me if you have any questions.